Hello, everyone. Welcome to another video. My name is Shaheen Manjezi, and it's been a while since I last posted, but I felt like tonight I just want to sit down and talk about some things that I have been meditating on and some realizations that I've had recently. Share those things with you, and hopefully provide some clarity on things that you've been experiencing in your life, and so you can level up and so you can become more aware of what is happening within your own brain and within your own life. And today's topic comes from a story about something that's happened between me and one of my close friends, and of course I'll do my best to keep people anonymous, so I'll keep things pretty vague. But nonetheless, I really do want to share this story with you because, I think it can really heal your relationships if you get this right. And also, lead to you living a more authentic life. So, without further ado, I'll get into the story and then sort of the lesson that I learned from this story. So, if you guys don't know by this point, and you can't tell by how I look, I'm a rocker. I'm a songwriter. I'm a musician, a producer. I like to make music. I like to produce music, and I'm actually going on tour this summer across the United States, which is super exciting. I'm going to be touring the country and playing music for everyone who wants to listen in different venues, and it's going to be very exciting. So, if you do want to follow along with me on my journey for that, go ahead. A good place to follow me will be on my Instagram, and I'll link my personal Instagram in the description below. So you can follow me this summer if I'm coming to a city near you. If you want to connect, I'd be happy to do so. If you want to come to one of my shows, I'm also thinking about doing sort of meetups in certain places, in certain cities, in parks or what have you, where we can discuss manifestation and meet in person. So that would be really cool if we can do that as well. So again, you can follow me on my journey either through here on YouTube, or if you want more instant updates of where I am and what I'm doing, go follow my Instagram. Okay, so this story is about one of my friends, my close friends. I've been playing music with him since I was in high school, actually, and we linked up and we started a band, actually. And he was the first person I actually, publicly played music with. And when we were younger, everything was so free spirited. We would just go out and play and express ourselves. I would play the guitar, he would play the drums, and there were some shows where we would show up and we wouldn't even know what we're playing. We would improvise on the spot, spontaneous jams. And was it the greatest thing ever? I don't know. Probably not. I was young. I was 16 years old. But nonetheless, I had a lot of fun doing it with him. And we actually, started playing so much to the point where we actually played at the baccalaureate ceremony, which is like the ceremony before graduating. We played that together, and we performed in front of who knows how many people, 1,500 people in our school auditorium. And it was a very surreal moment, how far we got from just me and my friend loving music and having similar interests in music and having fun. And, people loved our music. We grew a little fan base at our high school and, ended up playing that ceremony, which was super cool. So, after high school, I went to San Diego State University, which is 2 hours south of LA. My friend stayed in LA, and he formed a band while I was down there studying. And, I would come up during school breaks and jam out with him every now and then. And at some point during my junior year of college, or it might have been my senior year, he invited me to participate as a member in the band. And I happily obliged because I like playing music so much. I love playing music so much. I obliged, and I filled in as the bassist for his band. And I became a part of the band, this new band that he formed. And very quickly I realized that the energy that we had, when we were in high school and more free spirited, it wasn't really the same, this time around. I could tell that he wanted things to be done in a certain way. And he was very passionate about his ideas. And we had a lot of fun together, but we obviously had creative differences. Nonetheless, because he was such a good friend of mine, I always felt like I'll just work it out with him. To maintain the relationship, I wanted to always make music with him, and I wanted to maintain our friendship. So, I knew that even if we had arguments and we got into it, like, we're just going to have to work through it. And that's what we did for years. And we were actually in that band together for 6 years. And it wasn't until recently, this past year, where I decided that I no longer wanted to participate in the band because I had my own personal projects going on and other projects, and of course wanting to go on tour with my own personal project that I had been working on. I knew that I would have to, cut some things out of my life. So I cut this band out of my life. And after I made that decision and told him about that, I could see that he was very frustrated. He was very angry with me. And every time we sort of met up, I could sort of sense his anger. And I never really confronted that anger. It was uncomfortable for me to confront him about why he was so angry. So I sort of just avoided him for months. And I'm actually good friends with his brother. And so I would still see him from time to time and, say what's up to him, but it was never the same. That energy was always there of like him being upset and frustrated. But I just thought, my approach to this was, okay, if he's going to have this negative energy, I'm just going to avoid him. I'm just going to avoid his negative energy. I'm not, I'm going to stay away from him. Because that's naturally how law of attraction gurus, that's how they talk. They say where attention goes, energy flows. So, if something's negative, stay away from it. So that's kind of what I was trying to do. It didn't work. It didn't work. Okay. And I'll share why it didn't work. But just the other week, I end up going to his brother's birthday party, or it was a birthday dinner rather, and he was there. My friend was there, who he was still. I could still tell that energy. He was that still bitter. And so we didn't really speak or talk or anything like that. And but after the dinner, we were all saying goodbyes, and he said, "Hey man, can I talk to you?" And we had a chat, and he basically told me that he felt like I lied and manipulated him because We were always talking about our dreams and our visions and all these things. And then he said, I kind of just cut him out of my life. And he felt that I owed him an apology. And I tried to dig deeper into what he really wanted me to do. And what it was he just wanted me to be honest with him and upfront with him about how I felt about the whole situation with the band. And ultimately, what I realized was that I was avoiding him for so long because I didn't want to confront him and tell him the truth that for years I did not want to have a creative relationship with him anymore. And I was holding that in, but I didn't know how to say it. So I sort of just kept that inside of myself, that truth. I kept that truth inside of myself. And as a result, that truth, because it wasn't released and it wasn't expressed, it began to rot our relationship from the inside out and manifest. And as years passed, we became hostile towards each other, towards one another. And, then I, of course, left the band. And that hostile energy continued because I never really gave him a true explanation of why, what was the core reason why I left the band, which was I simply did not want to have a creative relationship with him. I felt like I wasn't able to create myself, I wasn't able to express myself to the fullest degree when I was working with him. And I know it was the same for him, If I had told him that years ago when I knew that, because I knew this years ago, if I had told him that years ago, we would have saved ourselves from so much hostility and anger towards one another. And we would have saved ourselves a lot of time. But it was because I was so uncomfortable with sharing or speaking that truth that I didn't want to pursue a creative relationship anymore, because I was so uncomfortable with that. And I didn't want to hurt his feelings, and I didn't want him to blow up at me, or I didn't want him to, I was so concerned with what his reaction of me telling him was going to be, that I just held that truth within myself and pretended like nothing was wrong. And I think about so many relationships today, especially when you see relationships between people who are with each other for the wrong reason, between a man and a woman or whatever it is. If it's any type of relationship, it could be an intimate relationship. It can be a friendship. It can be a relationship between your coworkers or your boss. But I see now that not speaking your truth in your relationships will destroy the relationship. It will rot the relationship. And that's what happened to me in this case. But last week, me and my friend had this conversation, this uncomfortable conversation, where I admitted to him that I should have told him years ago that I did not want to pursue a creative relationship with him, because I felt like I was not able to freely express myself when I was with him. And if I had told him that, from the beginning, we would have saved ourselves from so much heartbreak. But ultimately, I told him this last week, and the moment I said it, I felt a huge release off of my heart to get that off my chest. and to tell him the truth to his face. Not in a demeaning way, but in such a way where I was speaking my truth to him. And he did shed some tears. I'm not going to lie. I shed some tears. I'm not going to lie. But the release that I got from that truth was such a spiritual release, such a spiritual detox, something that I had been holding on my chest, in my heart, for so long, that since that day, I have felt like a different person. I feel freer to express myself. So this is the lesson that I want to share with you all, and this is why I'm telling you this story. The only thing that we can do as human beings is to speak our truth on a day-to-day basis. And before you put your head on the pillow every night, you must ask yourself the question, did I speak my truth today? We are so concerned about how other people are going to react when we speak our truth. We're so concerned about the world's reaction to us simply speaking our minds, that we hold our truth inside of us and inside of ourselves. But I'm telling you from firsthand experience, if you hold your truth inside of you and you don't express it, it will destroy your spirit from the inside out. It will completely rot you from the inside out. It will destroy your life. It will destroy your relationships. So the most important lesson and thing that I can offer you through this video is, if there's something that's been on your mind, if there's something you've been holding in your heart, that you've been meaning to tell someone, that you've been meaning to say, and you've been putting it off, and you've been putting it off, and you've been putting it off, get it off your chest now. Tell them right now. And if you can't seem to muster up the courage to do that in this physical world, first do it mentally. Get it off your chest and tell them. Mentally rehearse yourself telling them what your truth is. And this doesn't only have to be limited to uncomfortable, confrontational sort of discussions. But also, if there's someone out there that you love, or if there's someone out there who, you admire or you adore, tell them your truth. Speak your truth. Tell them that you want them. There's nothing wrong with owning your desires. In fact, it's probably one of the most attractive things that you can do, is to own your desire and say, you know what, I really want you. And the truth is, you can't control how that other person is going to react to you speaking your truth. You can't. But at the end of the day, if you do speak your truth, you'll be able to look yourself in the mirror and you can say, I spoke my truth today. And before you put your head on the pillow, you can tell yourself, when it's just you in your head, in your mind, with your own thoughts, you know what? I spoke my truth today. And if you're able to do that every day of your life, by the end of your life, you'll look back and you'll say, hey, that was a crazy ride, but I lived a life where I spoke my truth. And that's the greatest gift that you can give yourself. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video.